Hi, welcome to PHP RSS feed aggregating systems, series number 16, video number 16. Now, if you're already on an external server, you can skip this video entirely. All this video is doing is I've gone to my internal server and I've opened up my database creation panel, which is at the bottom of let's see, let me launch this here and I'll show you. If you're on GoDaddy, you go into your account, you launch your hosting, you go down here and you click this MySQL, and then that will take you to a page that looks like this right here. And you may or may not already have databases in there depending upon how far you've gone. So we're just going to click Create a Database at the top, and then we're going to fill out the description. Now, I don't want to give you a view of my personal information in here that I'm going to use and the way I'm going to set it up and what I'm going to call it, so I'm going to pause out for a second. And when I come back, you'll see the very next page of this. Okay, I have hit that button, and then what I'm presented with here is a list of my recent databases and the one that I just am setting up right now. And as I can see, it's pending setup, so I hit refresh, and sometimes this happens right away, and sometimes it happens sometimes it takes up to like a half an hour for it to happen on GoDaddy. So I'm going to pause, and when this is done, we move on to the next step. Okay, our database is set up, but before we go to our database, actually, I'll go ahead and go to the database at the moment. And I need to put in my password and database name, so hold on. Okay, I have that, so I'm going to go into the database, and here I am in the database, and it tells me that I have an empty database here, which is fine and well. Now I'm going to go back to my local database. Oops, there's a cron, and it has failed to open a stream. So that's the first cron failure I'm showing you in real time. And we're going to go through this again, and it's also failing to open a stream. Let's see why. Okay, we have our script running. Apparently we have a bad stream here. We'll deal with that later. But anyway, we're going to go back over here to localhost where our database is, our local database. And we're going to browse that database. Or, no, we're not going to browse that database. We're going to go to the base root of that, which if we go up here to news feeds and just click on feeds, this is in your XAMPP, your local. So, no, it's not feeds. We want to click on the name of the database, and in this I called it news feeds. On my server I called it something else because news feeds is already taken. So you'll see that you have your list right here, and we're going to click on export. And in a second we get export, quick, display only the minimum options, custom, display all possible options. I'm going to do quick. So this is going to export my news feeds in an SQL file. So just remember where you're saving this SQL file. And I am going to save this in C. I'm going to save it in my XAMPP directory in htdocs, and I'm going to save this under the news folder, which is where all of my scripts are. And hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So I'm going to save this in my news folder so I know where to find it, and it's saved. Now let's go back to our new database right here, and we're going to hit import, and we're going to locate that file on the server and just browse to wherever you saved that file at, which is in my case right here. And I'm looking for something with a SQL extension, newsfeeds SQL right here. So I'll click that, and hopefully this will write our tables. So we'll hit go, import successfully, finished, 19 queries executed. So I'm going to browse my feeds table to make sure I've got all those almost 400 feeds in there. Yep, 403 feeds are in there, and my feeds list is in there. Now, the next step to do is to FTP all of our files up there. But before we do that, we need to fix this correction script or connection script. You see how we have localhost up here? We're not going to have localhost, and our username is not going to be root. And our password, we have to put our password in here, and then we have to put the database name in here. Now, because I'm on GoDaddy, if I were on a different server, localhost might work, but GoDaddy's not set up to deal with localhost. So I'm going to copy this string up here as the server. Just going to Control-C on that. And I'm going to go back to my script, and where this says localhost, I'm going to change that to read that. And now I'm going to put my database name, my password, and username in these 3 lines right here. Now this password that's empty, that's where your password's going to go. So I'm going to do that and then close this document because I don't want you seeing my connection string, and I will be right back. Okay, I have done that, and I've instead of saving it directly, I've saved it as connect all _ext. The reason I've done that is because if I save it right now, my local system will no longer work. So anyway, yeah, that cron I spoke of earlier has made it through to workable streams. So when I find the one that's screwed up, all I have to do is go in there and check out why it's not getting anything from that. And I've got 20 in there, so if I click through this about 4 times, I will get there. But anyway, that's not the scope of this lesson per se. Should be hitting it right about now with the errors. Nope, no errors for some reason. Okay, at any rate, let's go back to what we were doing. All right, we've got our server set up. We've imported our records. And now what I need to do is I need to go and move all of this up to the server that I have in place. So FTP, open your FTP and go to your server. Okay, you have FTP'd to your site and you have made a news directory, and I've already done that off camera, but if you haven't done that, all you have to do is right click and then click create directory and then call that directory news, and you're good to go. I'm going to cancel because I've already done that directory. Now you open the news directory, and on your XAMPP side you navigate to your news directory here that we've built, and then from here admin contains all of the files that create feeds and put feeds on your site. We haven't secured any of those through logins and stuff like that, so you don't want to put admin up unless you're going to use it. Now once you've secured that, you can leave admin in place, but you only need admin over on this side when you actually plan on adding things. So I would just delete the admin unless you're going to add more feeds. So the next thing we want to do is we want to go to scripts, and we want to upload these scripts. Now you may recall that I had you redo the configuration file. So your connect all PHP is not going to work in this. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete connect all PHP. Delete that file, yes. Also, I'm going to delete, because you don't have these in yours, and this might be confusing. So let me delete all of these text files that I used for examples. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those. So your folder should look about like this right now. And we saved that connection script as connectallext.php, so we need to rename that to connectall. So we've done that, and that takes care of that. So let's navigate back up to our news directory, and now we start putting in the scripts we need. And if I look over here to my left, I have probably more than I need, but I definitely want to do cron, detail, feed test 1, feed test 2 if you have one of those, footer, header, headlines. We don't need index HTML. We need index PHP, left column PHP. We don't need this GIF because that was part of the distribution of the template. New feed form.php, new feed parse.php, New feeds SQL, that's what we use to create our database. We don't need that. These perfect 3-column dimension GIFs, we don't need those because those were part of the original template. We need result PHP, write PHP, and screen CSS. This is the CSS that runs our screen. By the way, I want to tell you something while I'm uploading these. In screen CSS, there is a hover command. You're going to have to do this on your own. Just go into screen CSS and change that hover. Otherwise, when you hover over one of your links, the link will actually disappear. I don't know why, that's a part of the distribution, but you change that to a color that will make it not disappear. So now we have our files up and in place, and we're ready for our first round of error messages. Or if we get really, really lucky, there won't be any. So I'm going to go to PHP. No, I'm not going to go to that one. I'm going to go to wingstoday.com, and I know that I have something there on the front already. So now in this directory of news, we should have something. But we'll probably get an error. Nope, it actually worked just perfectly, exactly the way I wanted it to work. And now we're pulling from the external database, and we have an external website. Let me check the detail page. The detail page is working. Let me type in future on this 787 story here. Let's see if that happens. U-R-E, future. Booyah! We got it. 27 results for future. So now we have successfully moved from our XAMPP to our external server, and everything is working right. So the next thing we're going to work on is we're going to go ahead and build the Twitter next. How exciting. All right, thank you very much. If you've gotten to this point and this is all working well, you're in great shape. If not, go back and try and figure out if there's any errors and it's throwing error messages here, deal with those. And I will catch you in the next video. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and thumbs up are always great if you've gotten this far.